How's it going, guys? It's Kyle, or the How To Guy 123 here, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing an updated tutorial on how to install Windows XP in VirtualBox. I made my last tutorial on this topic in February of 2022, and since then, VirtualBox has had a few updates and some changes, so it's time for an updated guide. To begin, if you don't have VirtualBox downloaded and installed already, I'll leave a link for it in the description below. Once you're on the download page, go down to where it says VirtualBox Platform Packages, and we can download VirtualBox for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. VirtualBox now supports both Intel and Apple Silicon Macs, so you'll be able to install VirtualBox if you have a Mac with an M1, M2, M3, and even the new M4 chip. Anyways, I'm going to skip the installation process for VirtualBox as it's pretty straightforward. On Windows, VirtualBox installs like any other program. With VirtualBox installed, the next step is to download a Windows XP installation image. I'll include a link in the description below to malwarewatch.org where you can safely download a Windows XP ISO image. This site is managed by the YouTuber Enderman, so we know it's safe and trustworthy. This site has ISO files for pretty much every version of Windows. If we scroll to the bottom, there's an ISO for Windows XP. There's also a Windows XP 64-bit ISO available for download, but this tutorial is going to focus on the original 32-bit version of XP. Go ahead and click on the link to download the ISO and save it anywhere on your computer. I'm going to save my ISO to my desktop for easy access. Now that we have our Windows XP ISO downloading, in the meantime, we need to ensure that we have virtualization enabled in our computer's BIOS. To easily check if we have virtualization enabled, we are going to want to open up Task Manager. On Windows 10 and 11, you can do this by right-clicking on the taskbar and selecting Task Manager. Once Task Manager is opened, click on the Performance tab, then click on CPU. And at the bottom, look for where it says Virtualization. Make sure that this is set to Enabled. If it says Disabled, then you will need to restart your computer and boot into the BIOS, then enable the virtualization setting. I have made a video on how to enable virtualization, which I will link in the description below if you need it. Enabling virtualization is crucial as a disabled setting will cause the virtual machine to crash on boot and display an error. Now that we have virtualization enabled and our Windows XP ISO file has finished downloading, we can finally open up VirtualBox and create our virtual machine. To create a new virtual machine, start by clicking the New button. This setup window will open up, and I recommend switching to Expert mode so your setup interface matches mine. First, under Name, enter any name that you'd like for your VM. I'll call mine Windows XP Tutorial 2024. Next, under Folder, choose a location on your computer to save your VM files. Since virtual machines can take up a lot of disk space, I recommend saving your VM to a drive with plenty of room. I typically store my VMs on a 14TB hard drive, but you can leave it in the default folder if that works for you. Now under ISO image, click the drop down, then select Other, and find the Windows XP ISO file we downloaded earlier. Go ahead and open it. For type, set this to Microsoft Windows, and version, make sure it's set to Windows XP 32-bit. Be sure to check Skip Unattended Installation. Then open the Hardware dropdown. For base memory, this is the amount of RAM we're going to allocate to our virtual machine. Windows XP requires at least 128 MB of RAM, but I recommend increasing it to somewhere between 512 MB and 2048 MB, which is 2 GB of RAM. I'll go with 1 GB as adding more than 2 GB isn't necessary, as 32-bit operating systems like Windows XP cannot fully utilize beyond that. Next, under processors, this is the amount of CPU cores that we're going to be allocating to our VM. Realistically, 1 core will work fine, but I'm going to bump mine up to 2 for smoother performance. You can choose more cores if you'd like, but keep in mind that going beyond 4 cores may make the VM unstable and it's pretty unnecessary for running XP. Finally, open the hard disk dropdown, and make sure that Create a Virtual Hard Disk Now is selected, and choose a size for your virtual disk. This is the amount of disk space that our virtual machine is going to have for our OS, along with storing programs and files. By default, it's set to 10 GB, which should be fine, but I'm going to bump the size of my virtual hard disk to 32 GB. Leave the hard disk file type as VDI, VirtualBox Disk Image. Now click Finish to close out of the setup. We can now click Start at the top of the screen to launch our VM. Your VM is going to open in a new window, and it's going to boot into the Windows XP setup. At first, the setup will take a few seconds to load drivers, then it will bring you to the setup start page. Press Enter to continue, then press F8 to accept the license agreement. You'll now be asked where to install Windows XP. Since there's only one option, the 32 GB unallocated space on the virtual hard disk, simply press Enter to select it. Then use the arrow keys to choose Format the partition using the NTFS file system quick. The setup will format the virtual hard disk and begin copying installation files. This may take a few minutes. Once the files are copied, the VM will need to restart. You can either wait for the timer or press Enter to restart immediately. After your virtual machine restarts, you'll be asked to press any key to boot from a CD. Do not press any key and just wait for the screen to pass, otherwise you'll be put in a boot loop. You'll then be taken back into the Windows XP setup. During the setup, you'll be prompted to configure the OS. First, you'll be prompted to select your language and location. Click Customize, and I'll change my language to English Canada, and my location to Canada. After setting up your regional options, click Apply and OK. You can also change the keyboard layout by clicking Details, but I'll leave mine as the default. Click the Next button, and you'll be asked to enter a name and organization for registration. Here you can enter whatever you'd like, so I'm going to add Kyle for the name, and the HowToGuy123 as the organization. Once you click Next, you'll be prompted to enter a product key. Unfortunately, I won't be able to provide a product key in this video, so that YouTube doesn't flag this video for piracy, but finding a product key is fairly easy, and you could probably even still purchase one off of places like eBay. Moving on, you can give your VM a computer name. I'm going to leave my computer name as is. You can also set up an administrator password if you need to log into the administrator account in the future, but I'm going to leave it blank and not set up an admin password for this VM. Click Next, and you'll be asked to set the correct date and time zone. Once those are configured, click Next again. We will then be asked to choose network settings, select typical settings, and then click Next. You'll then be asked if you want your VM to join a workgroup or domain. Leave this as, note this computer is not on a network or is on a network without a domain, and leave the workgroup name as default. Then click Next. That is all the configuration we need to do, and the setup will complete the rest of the installation on its own. Once the installation is done, your VM will restart on its own. Once again, you'll be prompted to press any key to boot from a CD. Don't press anything and let this screen pass. When the VM boots into Windows, you'll see a message saying that Windows is automatically going to adjust your screen resolution. Click OK, then OK again once your screen resolution has been resized. You'll then be brought to a welcome screen, and we can finalize setting up Windows. Click the Next button, and you'll first be asked if you want to protect your PC with automatic updates. I'm going to just choose Help Protect My PC by turning on Automatic Updates now, although there aren't really any updates available anymore. Click Next, and Windows is going to check for internet connectivity. Once that is done, you'll be asked whether or not your computer is going to be connected to the internet with a local area network. Choose yes, this computer will connect through a local area network or home network, then click next. Afterwards, you'll be asked whether you want to register with Microsoft. Choose no, not at this time, then click next once again. Finally, we'll be asked to create user accounts. I'm going to make one user account for myself with the name the HowToGuy123, and once you're done creating accounts, click next, and we have completed the Windows XP installation and setup. Click finish, and you'll see the Windows XP welcome screen, and hear the classic login sound before being brought to the desktop. However, we're not done yet. We still need to install VirtualBox Guest Editions. This will add some drivers to our VM, enable full screen mode, enhance performance, and provide additional functionality. To install Guest Editions, go up to the toolbar at the top of your screen and click on Devices. In the Devices menu, choose Insert Guest Editions CD image. Then click on the Start button in Windows XP and open up My Computer. In My Computer, you will see a VirtualBox Guest Editions CD under Devices with Removable Storage. Double click on it to open up the setup for Guest Editions. Click on the Next button to continue. Click Next again, then Install. VirtualBox Guest Editions will begin to install. I've noticed that it takes quite a bit of time. The install took about 4 minutes in my case, and there may be some moments where it seems like it's frozen. Just be patient, it's still installing. Once the installation is complete, you'll be prompted to reboot your VM. Choose Reboot Now, then click Finish. And your VM will restart. During the restart, you'll hear the classic Windows XP logoff sound. Once you're back in your VM and have Guest Editions installed, we can now try and full screen our virtual machine. To do so, click on View at the top of the screen, then select Full Screen Mode. If prompted, click Switch, and your VM will now be full screen and take up the full resolution of your monitor. To exit full screen, you can hover your mouse at the bottom of the screen to bring up a toolbar, then click View and select Full Screen Mode again. Alternatively, you can toggle full screen mode by pressing the right control key and F on your keyboard. We can now eject the Guest Editions CD from our VM. Head back into My Computer, right click on the VirtualBox Guest Editions CD, then choose Eject. The last thing I want to go over in this video is installing an up-to-date web browser. Currently installed with Windows XP is Internet Explorer 6, which is too outdated to load most web pages. It can load Google, but anything else will give you a "this page cannot be displayed" error. Instead of Internet Explorer, I recommend installing Supermium. Supermium is a modern internet browser based on Chromium, the same foundation that Google Chrome uses, and it supports Windows XP and 32-bit operating systems. I'll leave a link to where you can download Supermium in the description below. You'll need to download it on your host machine, which is your actual computer, then transfer it over to your VM. Once you're on the GitHub page, click on Releases on the right side of your screen. Under the latest version, scroll down to the Assets section and click on the Supermium32setup.exe to download Supermium. After the download is complete, we will need to transfer the setup file to our VM. The easiest way to do this is by enabling drag and drop in VirtualBox, allowing you to simply drag and drop the setup over to your Windows XP VM. To enable drag and drop, click Devices on the toolbar at the top of your VM window, hover over drag and drop, and select Host a Guest. Now move your VM window to the side of your screen, and simply drag the Supermium setup from your host machine to the desktop of your VM. As you can see, the Supermium setup is now on my Windows XP desktop. However, I found that drag and drop can be a bit glitchy sometimes. If you encounter issues, you should try using shared folders to transfer files to your VM. I've created a tutorial on how to use shared folders in VirtualBox, and I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. Now that we have the Supermium installer on our VM, double click on it to open it. Click yes when prompted to install Supermium, and the setup files will be extracted. A setup window will appear. Make sure to check Create Shortcuts for Supermium, then click on OK to proceed with the installation. Once it's finished, you'll see a message confirming that the setup has been completed successfully. Click OK to close the setup window. You should now see the Supermium icon on your desktop. Double click on it to open up the browser, and then you'll be asked if you want to sign into Supermium. Choose Don't Sign In, and you'll see a very Google Chrome looking browser open. Now if I try to go to a website like Reddit, it will actually load. I can even try and watch YouTube videos, and they will actually play. And that's all there is to installing Windows XP in VirtualBox. Before I end the video, a quick disclaimer. Windows XP is no longer receiving security updates, so it's vulnerable to security risks. As long as you use it cautiously, avoid installing anything suspicious, and don't sign into important accounts like your email or Google account, you should be just fine. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.